Greetings, VCA community. I hope you guys are all doing well. Now that we're officially in fall, I wanted to give you a few updates because we have some more information for you about COVID and waivers and all that good stuff. It's been a while since we've given you some updates on those things, and there are some developments. First of all, we have really enjoyed having our transitional kindergarten through second grade students back on campus under this current kind of limited cohort guidance from the state and county. It's been a joy to hear their laughter and watch them running around and playing and learning on campus. And so that has been a blessing. Our staff have been working hard to do that well. Thank you, parents, for being faithful about those daily health screenings before you come in, all that good stuff. We are working hard to get our 3rd through 6th grade students back on campus safely and under the approval of our county and state. Last week we submitted a waiver because we are technically still in the purple tier with our county in terms of our COVID statistics. So we're required to submit a waiver. It's currently in review, and we hope to hear back soon. The goal was to try and get us back on campus 3rd through 6th grade mid-October. So we will keep you posted on that. And then the kind of larger updates here have to do with general campus reopening. So late August, early September, the state switched kind of their reporting metrics to this tiered colored system. So we've been in the purple tier, which means that cases are widespread, and that is why we're still very restricted in what we're able to do on campus. However, the case numbers have been regularly improving in Sonoma County, which is really encouraging. And while we are still in the purple tier, we could meet the criteria for the red tier as early as next week. So I want to explain to you how that all works. Even if we meet the criteria next week, the county won't officially enter the red tier until we have met that criteria for 2 weeks. So what you're going to notice is that counties around us are going to begin entering the red tier before we will. Sonoma County will likely be one of the last counties just because of our case numbers. So I want to be clear with you about that. So once we've met that criteria for 2 weeks, then schools have to wait 2 more weeks to be authorized by the state and county to reopen. So we're talking about best case scenario, if we meet red tier criteria next week, it would still be 4 weeks minimum before we could reopen without a waiver, which means there's the possibility, of course, that 3rd through 6th grade, all of our elementary could be back on campus with restrictions and guidelines and things that we'll talk to you about later, but they could be on campus. However, our secondary, in all reality, is not looking at returning to campus, really probably until at least beginning of 2nd quarter. So end of October, early November. That's really the best case scenario in terms of when our secondary students could expect to return, and potentially 3rd through 6th students if we're not approved for a waiver. So I just want to be really clear about what the realities are there, but we are working to fulfill our part to do all of those things that are required of us so that when we are allowed to be back on campus, we are ready to do that safely. Also, I want you to be aware that there is a possibility that if the case numbers begin to worsen, it would essentially reset the clock, so to speak, on the process of our county moving to red. And as we get that information, we will share it with you. So kind of the takeaways from that information are that ultimately secondary should plan to continue VCA at home through the end of the 1st quarter. There's a strong possibility that could be true for 3rd through 6th as well, but we will let you know if we hear otherwise about the waiver. And so I just wanted to be upfront with you about all that. We'll post this information in writing as well on our website. And I'll even post a document on there that the county shared with us that kind of gives those specific guidelines in terms of which tier we're in and what the implications are for schools. So finally, with all of that in mind, I just feel like community building is more important than ever because we're still in this remote situation. So ways we are encouraging you as families to come alongside us and participate in building community. First of all, we're going to host a back to school virtual event later than we normally would. We really would have done that already, but we were kind of hoping there's a chance we could get back on campus in some limited way. But since that's not going to be the case for a little bit, we're aiming on October 6th to have a back to school virtual event that will probably be a combination of videos we'll ask you to view by individual secondary teachers and then some live virtual events as a whole school or with specific teachers. And we'll keep you posted on the details of that. But set aside sometime the evening of October 6th on your calendars for that. Please, in the meantime, reach out to your students' teachers, or if you're a secondary student or upper elementary, reach out to your teachers if you have questions or concerns, or there are still any technical difficulties that you're having. Our first quarter ends at the end of October. We're going to be getting progress reports out by the end of next week, just to give you a snapshot of how things are going before we get to the end of the first quarter. So please reach out to teachers with questions and concerns that you have. We'll be giving you more information soon too about arranging virtual parent-teacher conferences at the end of October. I would also invite and encourage you to engage with our PSO, our parent staff organization. They are beginning to meet and they're planning events aimed at building community, reaching out to our many new families, and even, thinking of creative ways for us to fundraise in this virtual environment. But the community building is the most important piece. And we have so many new families. We're excited and blessed by that, but it's really hard to feel connected to a community when it's mostly virtual. So engage with the PSO. If you've missed the meetings and you'd still like to be involved, you can contact me and I'll give you Ashley Young's information because she's spearheading that. Pretty soon you're going to get information about a dine and donate that our secondary student council is putting on. We won't be able to eat inside the restaurant, but we'll be able to order and pick up food. It will fundraise for our student council to plan some fun secondary events this year. And it'll give us a chance to wave hello to each other as we pick up food. So stay tuned for that and participate in that, please. And if you hear about any other community building events, we want you to dive into those and engage with those as much as possible. You'll be getting an email soon about naming our PSO, something even a little bit more fun. We told the kids about it in chapel yesterday, and the family whose choice we pick is gonna get a Chick-fil-A gift card. We're gonna pay for dinner on us. So just a thank you for naming our PSO. Stay tuned for any other events, fundraisers, things coming up that will promote the school, that will benefit the school, that will build community amongst students and staff and families. And finally, and most importantly, will you please pray? Pray for our students, as this is a tough environment to learn and build community in. For some more than others, but it's challenging for everybody. Pray for our new students who are trying to feel connected in an unusual situation. Pray for our new families, same thing. They want to get to know you, they want to feel like they are part of this school community, and we want them to know that they are, and we're so glad they're here. Please pray for our staff. Teaching in this environment is exceptionally challenging and requires hours more planning on their part and a lot more intention to reach out to students and make sure they're engaged. So pray for staff, for their encouragement, for their energy, for their engagement, and please pray for the board and administration of VCA. We really covet your prayers for wisdom as we continue to navigate this season, as we want to build our school and build our community. We want to do this well. We have an accreditation meeting coming up in November, all kinds of things going on, and we want to honor the Lord in the way that we do those things. So please be praying for us. We can't wait until we can see you again here on campus, but in the meantime, let's dive in together and build community the best way we can, and we'll keep you posted on all of the other things going on with VCA. Take care, families.